Hello everyone and welcome back to another video of mine. Today I'm going to try to solve a LeetCode problem. Today we're going to be solving this easy LeetCode problem, that is question number 20, valid parenthesis. So we can start by understanding the question first. So the question goes like, given a string S containing just these characters are basically brackets, the different types of brackets we have. Determine if the input string is valid. We have to check if it is valid following these rules. What are these rules? Open brackets must be closed by the same type of bracket. That means an open bracket of parenthesis must be closed by its corresponding parenthesis itself, not a square bracket. That was why this third example is false. Next, open brackets must be closed in the correct order. That is, if a parenthesis is opened and it is closed by a square bracket and another closing parenthesis comes, it won't be mattered, it will be still false. Every closing bracket has a corresponding opening bracket of the same type. That means if each closing opening bracket must be closed. That is all we need to understand from the question. So after checking these things, we need to reply if it is true or false. So I'm going to be checking using two types of data structures in this question. The first one is a stack, which can be easily implemented in Python using a list. And the second one is a hash map, and Python already provides us with a hash maps called dictionary. We need to use these two things to solve this question. So let me explain to you how I'm going to solve the question. First, I'm going to be creating a stack. So if for anyone who does not know what a stack is simply like a list itself, but the first one the one that is on top gets executed first. Like this, if we keep on adding values to the stack, that means the values are added to the stack and the first one gets executed. Like if it is imagine a plate that are stacked on top, what we will be when we need a plate, we will take the one on top. That is all what a stack is. So first I'm going to be implementing a stack which would be empty at first, and then I would create a dictionary that saves the corresponding opening brackets. So for this closing parenthesis, there is this opening parenthesis. For this closing square bracket, there is this opening square bracket. And for this closing squiggly bracket, curly bracket, we have this opening curly bracket. We are going to use this dictionary to let our program know the corresponding opening bracket for each closing brackets. I think we all understood that. And now let's start by the question. We will be given a string. We will traverse through the string and we will keep on adding the opening brackets to the stacks. The opening brackets would be added to the stack. And each time we will, when a closing bracket comes, we would check. When a closing bracket comes, how would we know? The closing bracket would be in our dictionary. When each time a closing bracket comes, we would check if the last element is an opening bracket. If the last element is an opening bracket, we know that these two are correct. So if the last element is the same type of opening bracket, we would simply pop that. That is gone. So when the next one comes and if it is correct, we will pop that. So if everything goes correctly and our stack is empty, if everything goes correctly and our stack is empty at the end, that means every opening bracket has got its closing bracket and popped off. Then we can return true. Or else, if there is a closing bracket and there is no corresponding opening bracket. There is a closing bracket. Here the opening bracket is squiggly, and we got a closing bracket of normal parenthesis. Then and there itself we can simply return it as false. So let's try to implement it and check. First we're going to make our stack. I've told you that a stack is simply an array. And then we can create our dictionary. In this dictionary I'm going to be writing it as brackets. That is, it is used to store our closing brackets. So we can write the closing bracket parenthesis will get an opening parenthesis. Okay, it came both brackets, so I'm going to close that, and comma, opening a closing square bracket will get an opening square bracket. Okay, opening square bracket. Next, closing squiggly bracket will get an opening squiggly bracket. So we have made our data structures. Now it's time for us to start traversing the string. So we can traverse through a string in Python by writing for C in S. That is for characters in string. For C in S. First we have to check if C in brackets. If C is in brackets, then we have to check. If C is in bracket means if it is a closing bracket. We have to check if there is a stack. If there is a stack, there should be a stack for us to check if there is an opening bracket, right? So we will check if there is a stack and the last element of stack. How will we get the last element of stack? We will just type -1. Because there is reverse indexing in Python, so we can access the last element by writing -1. Stack of -1 is equal to what should it be equal to? The corresponding opening bracket. So how will we get that? We will get that by writing brackets of C. Brackets of C. If that is correct, that is if that is equal, then we can pop that stack dot pop. We can write else. What will happen else? Else means that opening bracket did not, that closing bracket did not have a proper opening bracket. Then we can then and there return false. We don't need to check further. False. F-A-L-S-E. False. So that if statement is completed, then next if statements else we have to write else. That is, if it comes in this if statement, that is it is a closing bracket. If else, then it is a opening bracket. And what will we do with our opening bracket? We will just push it to our stack. So it will be stack dot append what append C. And after the loop, if everything is working properly, what will we write? We will return true if not stack. That means if we will return true if the stack is empty, else we will return false. Else will return false. This is a type of an if expression that we can write in one line. It is used in Python. So I think everything is correct. Let's run it and check it. if there is any errors, and we can debug the problems if something arises. So there is an error. Okay, I wrote here semicolon, it should be a full colon. So just try to run it again, and the test cases have been passed, and we can submit it. And yes, the solution is correct. So that is how you will solve the question number 20, which is an easy question using Python, and it beats 80% of the users, so I believe it is a good solution. So thank you all for watching, and goodbye until we see again.